So welcome back to another rebuild here on NBA 2K25 Next Gen. In today's video, we are back with another episode of our Trading Every Player rebuild series, and today it's the Denver Nuggets. These videos are about as self-explanatory as the title makes them. Basically, before year one kicks off, I have to trade away every single player who is currently on the Denver Nuggets. Of course, I have no say in the trades as my eyes will be closed, and by the end of this video, I have to win a championship. So these ones are pretty fun. It seems like everybody really always loves this series every single year I do it, and I'm super excited to be back with these rebuilds. Let me know any other video ideas down below in the comments section, whether it's, different series, different challenges, whatever it may be. Of course, we are going to be continuing to do these. This is only the second one of the Trading Every Player rebuild series. Along with that, we'll continue to work through the Steph era rebuilds and any other challenges you guys do want to see. So I'm excited for this one. Got a lot of requests to do the Denver Nuggets. Let's get into it. It would be a pretty big waste of time to talk about this Nuggets roster. Of course, there is some pretty significant talent with this group, but of course, we're not actually going to be able to use any of it today. So something that I am a little nervous about is sometimes when you have players that are as high and as good as Nikola Jokic is in terms of the overall, sometimes I don't get trade offers. So let's just see. Am I going to get anything? Okay, I do. I get two different trade offers, which is cool because I don't have to use Siri and I don't have to change Jokic's position. I'm not going to get to choose which one of these offers I get, but it is pretty good. I'll take either of these. So I'm going to close the eyes just so you know I'm not cheating, but obviously starting out with the three-time MVP, and we will stop right about now. And it's going to land us Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr. here from the Memphis Grizzlies. It's funny, I actually also got Ja and Jaren Jackson Jr. in my Celtics rebuild the other day when I did one of these. So, yeah, I guess I'll try in the future not to get them, but again, I don't really have any choice. So, yeah, it sucks giving up Nikola Jokic. Pretty much no matter who I traded him for, it was not going to be as good of a player as he is. So, welcome to the team, both of you. Excited for it. Now we move on to Jamal Murray here, who has had an interesting season so far. Of course, didn't have the best summer at the Olympics, and let's just see what we're going to land here. So 27 offers, eyes are closed. We'll scroll through these and we'll stop right about now. And it's going to land me DeAndre Ayton and Robert Williams here from the Portland Trail Blazers. Okay, well, I wouldn't say that's my favorite offer in the world, but of course that's part of the challenge. We don't really have a say now, do we? Aaron Gordon going to move on to him. 84 overall, 29 years old, 25 different offers for him. And we will scroll till right about now. And actually, instead of accepting this one, we're going to go one to the right this time. That is going to be Anthony Simons and Vlatko. Oh, wait, I can't take contract. I already just traded him away. Would have been Rob Dillingham and Jaden McDaniels. All right, I'll do this one more time. Obviously, cannot trade for a guy that we already traded away. Stop one to the left, thank you. And that is Rui Hachimura and Jalen Ochifino, or it would have been Jett Howard and Jonathan Isaac. All right, that's, again, not my favorite thing in the world, but it's actually not the worst. Michael Porter Jr., 26 years old, 83 overall. Let's see what we can get done here. Hopefully a decent player. I feel like we've traded away a lot of, pretty good players for some not so great returns. So stop right about now. That's going to land me Kyle Kuzma from the Washington Wizards. All right, it's not my favorite, but that's not the end of the world. I can live with that. Moving on here, we're going to start kind of doing two at a time. Russell Westbrook, who has had not so great of a start to his season, and then Christian Brown here as well, 23 years of age. So 29 offers for these two. Let's see if we can hopefully get some pretty quality role players. I'm not expecting a star or anything like that, but just somebody that's going to help maybe take this team to the next level. And stop. That is Peyton Pritchard and Sam Hauser from the Boston Celtics. All right, they're both pretty quality role players, so welcome to the team. And continuing to move on here for the rest of this group, going to be Peyton Watson, him and Julian Strawther here. Just seeing, again, can we rebuild this bench? In real life right now, the bench is one of the things that is seriously hurting Denver, and I'd definitely like to have a strong bench throughout today's rebuild. So right about now. And that is Vesmisi and JRE. Welcome to the team. I don't know. Okay, let's just keep working our way through. Zeke Naji, will do him along with Deron Holmes, who, of course, is out this entire season, I believe, with a torn ACL. And stop one to the left this time. And that is Davion Mitchell and Bruno Fernando. Oh, Steven Adams could have been nice, but no, Davion Mitchell. Welcome to the team. All right, I think we've cleared out the majority of everybody. Of course, we don't trade the players that are on two-way contracts. I think Jalen Pickett and Hunter Tyson are going to be the last two that we have to move on from. So 4 offers only for these two. Not the end of the world. And our final trade is going to be with the Utah Jazz. Svi Mikhailuk, Patty Mills. Welcome to Denver. All right, let's go through this roster one more time. I just want to make sure we have completely cleared out pretty much everybody that is here at this point in time. So it looks like we pretty much have something that's kind of jumping out at me immediately is our lack of shooting guard options. So, of course, we also have the rule that I cannot actually make any other trades after we trade away the entire roster. So we are going to move around some positions, and this is going to be very, very interesting before we kick off year one. Okay, so we have finalized the rotation. It is not necessarily, exactly what I had in mind, but of course we were kind of working within the parameters that we have now, I guess, not really set for ourselves, but the game kind of set for ourselves. Anyways, it is Ja Morant starting at the point guard spot. Obviously, the first major decision we had to make was who's going to be our starting shooting guard. I moved Hauser there. The guy's an absolute sniper from beyond the arc. Maybe not a traditional shooting guard, but at least he can shoot the basketball, and he's probably the best option we have here for year one. I moved Kuzma to the 3. He'll start alongside Jaren Jackson Jr. and DeAndre Ayton in the front court. Bench unit's actually not too bad. Hachimura going to be my 6th man off the bench. We've got Rob Will here as the backup center, Peyton Pritchard backup point guard, Svi Mikhailuk, and then JRE rounding out the backup shooting guard and backup power forward. So, it's not great. Definitely takes a little bit of a dip after Peyton Pritchard, but it is what we have to work with here for year one, and I'm not really sure what to expect. I think playoffs are certainly within possibility, but I think I'd like this team to make some pretty big moves this offseason, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. I'll see you guys at the end of year one. We were as mid as humanly possible. 41-41 is the record here to wrap up year number one, and yeah, we have some work to do. That kind of goes without being said. Luka Doncic, he's your MVP. Alex Sarr, Rookie of the Year. Thompson, Wembanyama, Cunningham, Young, and Chris Finch, your Coach of the Year. Yeah, I mean, again, this team obviously has some talent. It's not anywhere near, as good as I would actually say Denver is. Well, maybe that's a hot take because Denver actually hasn't had a great start. But you understand my point. We're going to be in the play-in and maybe fighting for a playoff spot. We'll find out together. Ja Morant, Kyle Kuzma, Jaren Jackson Jr., Ayton, Hachimura, Pritchard, Hauser. You can, kind of take a look at the rest. Rebounds per game was Ayton, and then assists is going to be Ja Morant. So it is a tale that feels like it's almost as old as time at this point. Feels like Denver and LA almost always find each other in the playoffs. Wow, they made a trade. Because we didn't trade him Derek Jones Jr. Derek Jones Jr. obviously with the Clippers. Now, we did trade them Aaron Gordon. I don't know why they wouldn't just play Braun at the 3 and AG at the 4, but that is not my problem. So here goes nothing. We end up getting bounced, and we are officially not going to be in the playoffs here in year one. So let's sim through the rest of it. It looks like it is going to be a Timberwolves and a Cavaliers finals, and Anthony Edwards and the Minnesota Timberwolves get it done, beating the Cavs in 6. Okay, now we have free reign to basically do whatever we want, of course, except, trading for our old players. But, wow, Chris Paul went back to the Suns. Interesting. So let's go ahead and make some big moves. I don't think we have our draft pick, which is kind of shitty and kind of sucks. Yeah, the Magic have it. Does that date all the way back to the Aaron Gordon trade? My God, that's kind of crazy. But, yep, Magic have our pick at number 13. Of course, that would have been nice to have, but we don't. We will be keeping Mike Malone as our head coach. The ratings are pretty good. If we have another really shitty season, maybe we'll look to move on. But yeah, this is tough. There's not a lot to work with here. I actually didn't know Denver did not have like this, little in terms of tradable assets moving into the future. But we obviously have some things to do. We're not going to be drafting anybody. Let's hit team player options. Jalen Hood-Schifino will be brought back. Not going to qualify anybody here. Wow, $8 million for Davion Mitchell? Yeah, no thank you. I don't think we really have any major free agents. We really don't, and we also just don't really have any money to spend. So we are going to be making some trades, hopefully. I think it kind of went without being said. We clearly needed to find a starting shooting guard this offseason. Sam Hauser was fine, I guess, for 1 year as a plug-and-play, but ultimately we needed a long-term option. And we are going to find that in a deal here with the Memphis Grizzlies. I know that we already have Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr., so it's kind of funny. But given the limited assets we do have, if I can get a player as good as Desmond Bane or DeAndre Ayton and Jalen Hood-Schifino, I will do it. Pretty much 10 times out of 10. So welcome to the team. Excited to have Desmond Bane here. I know we basically created the Denver Grizzlies or the Memphis Nuggets, whatever you want to call it, but we are in a pretty good position now, and I think we do have a lot of talent. So I think we may have 1 or 2 more trades, but probably not anything too crazy given our assets. This trade here with the Atlanta Hawks is an interesting one because it's not necessarily a major upgrade in terms of what we're giving up to what we are receiving. But we are getting a little bit younger at both of these positions, both the center spot and just one of the backup spots, whether Johnson's the backup 4, backup 3, whatever it may be. But giving up Robert Williams and Rui Hachimura also clears out the issue of both these guys being unrestricted free agents next offseason. So I think this is a pretty good deal. Of course, it does suck, and it is a little risky to give up our draft pick after the season we just had, but I really don't think that's the end of the world. I think we're going to be in a much better spot heading into year number 2. So ultimately, I am going to start a Kongu at the center spot. It is probably going to lead to Jalen Johnson either being the backup 3 or the backup 4. I lean forward just because I do want to get Hauser some minutes. I think his shooting off the bench will be big for us. But at this point, we really just need to find ourselves a backup shooting guard. Is Jake LaRavia expiring? He is. So maybe I reload on a draft pick here because this is something we are obviously in pretty big need of right now, so thank you very much, Los Angeles. Let's look at some shooting guard options. A guy like Luke Kennard, honestly, could be a lot worse. So I'll take that little bit more shooting off the bench. Fine by me. And Misi will be the backup center, and I will just see you guys at the start of year number 2. After the first season did not go so great this offseason, we didn't decide to hit the reset button per se. We actually just brought in another Memphis Grizzly and then improved the depth of this team out a little bit. So I'm excited for the possibilities here. Of course, we basically, as I mentioned now like 12 times, have put together like the Denver Grizzlies or the Memphis Nuggets, whichever way you want to put it. But I think this is a team that is obviously going to have some chemistry, and I do really like the depth additions we did add. So it is Ja Morant, Desmond Bane, Kyle Kuzma, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Onyeka Okongwu as our starting center. Bench unit will now be led by Jalen Johnson. Of course, Peyton Pritchard developing quite nicely. Still got Sam Hauser, Luke Kennard, and then Vez Misi. So, yeah, I mean, we're in a good spot, but then again, I thought we were in a decent enough spot just a season ago. And, of course, that did not go very well. So, here's to hoping, and hoping things go well. I'll see you guys at the end of year 2. Same MVP as year 1, but a much better season for us here in year 2. 59-23 is the record, and we are certainly going to be in the playoffs this time around, and hopefully in the driver's seat for a championship, maybe. Luka, another MVP, as we mentioned. Cooper Flagg goes to the Trailblazers. Dylan Harper, Victor Wembanyama, Bones Highland, Jalen Brunson, and Chris Finch as your coach of the year. So we are not the 1 seed here in the West, unfortunately, but we do take home the 2 seed. So instead of being a play-in team this time, we will be facing a play-in team this time. And here's a look at the Eastern Conference. Let's talk about some numbers real quick for us. Looks like the scoring's a little bit more spread out, but that's as expected with a guy like Desmond Bane being brought in who can easily average 20-ish a game. So, yep, feel free to pause. Rebounds led by Okongwu, and assist is going to be Ja Morant. So, moment of truth. Us in the Los Angeles Clippers. Okay, interesting. I'm not going to lie. I think we clearly have, the better team. Kawhi Leonard is still, fantastic when, no injuries are on, but I'm pretty confident. So we split the first 2 on our home floor, do win game 3 on the road and game 4, and they win game 5, and we end up winning the series in 6. Now, I'm not really sure how the Thunder are a 6 seed. That's kind of unfortunate because we obviously now have to face them, but they beat the 3 seed Dallas Mavericks, so anything to not face Dallas because Luka is very much loved in this game. We end up winning that in 5. Now moving on to the Timberwolves, who won it all last year, who are, of course, incredible, who brought back Jimmy Butler somehow. How that happened, I am not really sure. Looks like they maybe traded Rudy Gobert. What? I have no idea. Nonetheless, here goes nothing in the West Finals. We split the first 2 on the road, lose game 3. Fucking goddamn it. Yeah, the Anthony Edwards love in this game is definitely real, and that's, nothing against the Timberwolves. They're really good, but unfortunate to say the least. Minnesota goes back-to-back. So does Anthony Edwards in terms of finals MVPs. Okay, well, we, are in a much better position than we were just a year ago. I'm still a little nervous, to be completely honest with you, but let's just see what ends up happening here. So, good. Give the Thunder the number 1 overall pick because, they've been struggling now for a long time. Mike Malone. Part of me wants to go out and get somebody else, whether it's a Stauffer or a Missoula or a Jason Kidd, because these are all really quality coaching options, but I'm not going to sit here and pretend that Mike Malone's a really bad coach, because he's just not, but we just haven't had a lot of success. I know Western Finals is great, but are we really going to be better than Minnesota? I'll hang on to Mike Malone. I feel like I get everybody else there quite a bit, and when I do have good head coaches, and I consider Mike Malone one of them, I should hang on to him. So we're not going to be drafting anybody this year. We do have a few other draft picks we can now play with as well, so that is certainly some positive news. And as we approach free agency, Jaren Jackson Jr., of course, is going to be a pretty big priority for me. So let's just pay Triple J. Welcome back. I think it is now time to make 1 or 2 trades. Okay, big blockbuster deal has been pulled off with the Cavs, and it was a very, very big one. It is Evan Mobley coming over here, and we gave up Okongwu, Johnson, and 3 first-round picks. Now, I understand Jalen Johnson is really good, and he's a really important part of our bench, but ultimately winning championships, if I've learned a thing or two, it's about the star power that you got. And obviously, Evan Mobley is going to provide a lot of that. So whether or not I'm moving Mobley or Jackson to the center spot doesn't really matter to me. I feel like Mobley might just be a little bit of a better fit just because he's probably a better rebounder. So Evan Mobley moves up to the 5. Excited to have him here. Now, we do have to replace some bench pieces that we ultimately lost. I think Misi will stay as the backup center, but obviously now in the market for a backup power forward. I'm also going to move on from Luke Kennard. It's not a indictment against how he played last year, but we all know damn well that regression is coming, and if I can get something that's relatively valuable, I'll certainly take it. So let's just see. Either power forward, shooting guard. With Jalen, I don't want to give up Misi though. I was like, damn, that was pretty nice. All right. These are not the best options in the world. Ben Shepherd, he hasn't really played a lot, but he's only 25 and probably won't really regress. Terrence Mann also here, but I feel like I've gotten Terrence Mann a decent amount recently. All right, let's go ahead and make... That's not what I'm looking for. Let's go ahead and make that deal. Luke Kennard, I was losing him. Make that deal and go ahead and pick up Mr. Ben Shepherd. A 1-for-1 swap. And then the power forward options here in free agency. Wow, we have money for Jonathan Isaac. That is totally fine by me. Welcome to the team. All right, this is the squad we are going to roll into the final regular season with. Hopefully it is good enough for a championship. I'll see you guys at the rotation. I'm really excited for the possibilities with this group. I think this is by far the most talented team we've had. I don't know if it's the deepest team we've had, just considering our bench is maybe a little worse than last year, but in terms of star power, it doesn't get much better than this. It is John Morant, Desmond Bane, Kyle Kuzma, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Evan Mobley 1 through 5. Bench unit will now be led by Pritchard. Obviously, we brought in Jonathan Isaac. Still got Ben Shepherd, Misi, and then Hauser rounding out the 10-man rotation. Hauser has gone from starting shooting guard in year 1 to 10th man in the rotation. I love you, though, GOAT. All right, I'll see you guys at the end of the final regular season. Such a beautiful way to wrap up the final regular season. Not only does John Morant win an MVP award, but we go 68-14. Clearly our best record yet, and we should, now finally I will say, be in the driver's seat for the hoist Larry O'Brien Trophy. AJ DeBance, the Rookie of the Year, Josh Giddey, Victor Wembanyama, Carter Bryant, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Mike Malone. Well, maybe a good thing we held on to Mike. Okay, we are obviously going to be the 1 seed here in the West. Wow, this is a dreadful conference, my God. Okay, let's take a look at some numbers real quick. It was Desmond Bane actually leading the charge in scoring. John Morant, Kuzma, Triple J, Mobley, Pritchard, Isaac, Shepherd. I'm like, cannot fucking speak right now. Rebounds went to Mobley, and then it's just going to be John Morant. Us in the Sacramento Kings. They've lost De'Aaron Fox. Still got Sabonis. This just doesn't really move me very much, to be honest with you. We win in 5. Now, this is going to be a challenge because no matter which way you spin it, this Minnesota team is good. Obviously pretty strong defensively. And, yeah, I think this is going to be a pretty big challenge. So, shit. This is not... Motherfucker. Wow. Okay. Wow, that's a surprise. Okay, well, Oklahoma City was a 6 seed last year, and we knocked them off in round 2. They have reloaded, they have regrouped, and yeah, they're really, really fucking good. So, quick 2-0 lead for us. Okay. Wow, we took a little bit of momentum. No. 2K? Thank you. Oh my God. All right, and it is now us after the most 2 stressful series of my life in the Indiana Pacers here in the NBA Finals. And it's not getting any easier. This Pacers team is also insanely loaded. So we I cannot fucking speak. We take the first 2, and then we end up sweeping them. Holy shit, what a playoff run. John Morant, Finals MVP. All right, well, we get it done. This was a... interesting one. It was a little bit more stressful than I kind of initially anticipated, but it was fun, and I enjoyed it, and I hope you guys did as well. So, as I mentioned in the intro, we're going to continue, throughout these rebuilds, get through all 30 teams. I know there are many teams people want me to do, and I promise you I will get to all of them eventually. But as of now, this is the only 2 we've done, and we will continue working our way through these, working our way through the Steph Curry era rebuilds, and any other challenges you guys want to see. So, I'm excited. Support's been great lately. I really do appreciate it. And 2K25, been a pretty fun one so far. So that's it for me. Let me know any other rebuild ideas down below in the comments section. As always, thanks so much for watching. I love you guys. I'll catch you guys all in the next one.